Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story. Just to let everybody know, I've got a major thunderstorm rolling in. So if I drop out, Andy, just keep talking, man. I'll be back.
I love that. I love that. That's cool. Hey, welcome to the Andy Lopez show. Hey.
Yeah, the invisible gardener.
What city are you in exactly? Where?
I'm actually west of Edmonton, Alberta.
Those fires are still going now. Now you have tornadoes, all kinds of other stuff. Is that right?
Actually, we had a tornado south of us in Didsbury that took out some stuff, but yeah, I've been pretty lucky so far.
Yeah, because I've been reading about it's like the end of the world over there.
This spring, we couldn't even see 50 feet out from where you were standing. It was just a cloud of smoke. You couldn't go outside. But for me, I got lucky. That only lasted actually a couple of days.
I feel lucky too because I live here in Malibu. It's like 76 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a customer's house Tuesday, 91 degrees. She's only in Redwood, which is like just a little bit outside of Malibu.
Yeah.
In the valley, it's 100 and something degrees. If Malibu starts turning anything over 85 degrees, I'm telling people I'm coming out at night. That's one of the ways I got my name initially. I will go out at night in the evening, 6 o'clock. And it's better to be applying microbes for so they have the whole even to settle down and to do something than to spray it in the morning. And within a few hours, everything's dried up.
Yeah.
They get an instant effect, but it works better. What?
I said we're supposed to be talking about compost, and here we're talking about the weather in Malibu, California.
We're like
off topic,
Okay. So let's do the compost thing. Can I do a screen share?
Go into your settings and bring up your screen.
Settings, camera.
Don't share screen.
I don't see it here under settings.
Okay, what do you see under settings, Andy?
Camera, audio, virtual background.
Okay. Do you see something that says present?
You took me to the wrong place.
Yeah, it's my fault. Yeah.
Let's see, window. Okay, so I got it. There you go. I got it, brother.
Okay, and there we go.
Bring
Soil Health Composting 101.
Bring the two pictures up. I like that better. You can do that, right?
Like this?
Yeah, we have that picture of me and you. You did that before, remember? Maybe we're just starting over again. I don't know. That's okay. I don't have to see myself.
I've got us on the side.
Yeah, I don't see it on my screen. I don't see it. Wait, I know what's going on.
You have to switch back to the other screen.
This thing, right. There you go. Sorry, guys, technical stuff.
Andy, you just had a brain fart. Okay.
The brain fart. Yeah. So I'll learn. I think we should just do it before the show starts. Start right there. We don't have to do any of that. Anyway, I should set this up for you guys because I like doing slides. I like to do. I don't know if I can move it. Can you move it to the next one? You have access to it?
No, all I can do is bring it, come up onto the screen. That's all I can do with it.
Oh, okay. No problem. Let me see what's going on. Again. Yep. Okay, let's see. No, I'm not. I'm trying to bring it up. It looks like it's bringing up the this one, not the one that I want to show, which is a different one. And I don't know what happened to that screen.
You have to go.
Oh, I got it
into it. There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Nutrient cycling.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I think I could maybe figure it out. Anyway, yeah. So people, we were going to title this show, "Compost: The Real Reason Why We Make Compost." Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is I'm going to talk around the little story that I write up there basically says compost is a natural process that involves the decomposition of various organic matter, such as food, scrapyard waste, and animal manure, and other biodegradable materials. It's a great way to recycle these materials and turn them into nutrient-rich it's supposed to be microbial compost, which then can be used to heal the soil. And
yes,
that is the real reason why we make compost, is to help bring back the biology in the soil.
Yep.
Because I put recycling down a couple of times because everybody says, "Oh yeah, to recycle." That's why we make compost, the kitchen waste, all this stuff. We don't throw anything away; we recycle it.
Yeah.
That's a benefit. That's just a benefit of why you do it, not the real reason why you do it. And if people understand the real reason why we make compost, then they would make the best compost they can make, and they would do it right. It's people don't understand, just because it looks dark, there may not be anything in it.
That's right. And unless you put it under the microscope, you're never going to actually know.
Exactly right, right. So not too many people have a $10,000 microscope that they can look up and find the microbes in there. And if they did see the microbes, you would know the good microbes from the bad microbes if you saw them, you know.
Yeah.
Today, what did he say? I missed that. It should be straight knowledge.
Today and tomorrow's shows should be straight knowledge.
I think I know what that means. I'm not really sure.
We've got Matt Powers on tomorrow night. So he's another gentleman that has a brain full of knowledge. They're saying that you, Andy, have a brain full of knowledge, and Matt doesn't.
Well, that is so nice. And I'll watch it too. I've been watching it. It's live too. I can comment on it. I didn't want to take over the show. You know, I mean, I just want to sit there invisible and do my thing.
The invisible gardener.
Yeah, yeah. But but there is a big difference. And when you make compost for the purpose of healing something, like when you do a poultice, right? When you do a poultice for the body, it's a big difference that when you're making something, you're putting it on for a reason, then, or if you just grab some things, put them together, and then put it on there, and that's going to work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you have to know what it is that actually heals the soil. What is it that you can put in the compost that then you can put on the soil like a patch of wound, or patch of soil. And that
Mother Nature doesn't like bare spots, Andy. She just doesn't like it. She put a bandage on, right?
And that's what people need to really understand. And they're not getting it yet, because it's not an easy scenario for people to understand what it is that they have to get. And I think it's funny when I go to a store and I see compost. And the compost is no manure, it says on it. No manure. The compost is no manure. And I talk to people and say, ew, I want to grow my vegetables and compost with manure in it. And I was trying to explain to them, first of all, if you make compost, you're not going to have any manure left. And there's not going to be any manure in there. You're not going to get E. coli. You're not going to get anything at all closely resemble
as long as you do it right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that the chemical people have started that in people's brains.
Of course they have. It's all about who's programming who, and we're trying to break that programming on this channel, Andy, so that people do understand that there's a better way.
I have always been breaking the programming because I felt that people need to think for themselves, and it comes down to individual human beings, individually what we do. And if we're not smart enough to figure out what's going on, then we're in trouble. And the only way you can get smart enough is by listening and coming to your own conclusion what's real as opposed to what everybody else is telling you.
Yeah, researching. That's why I tell people listen to many voices and find the ones that resonate with who you are, and follow that methodology, and just keep learning, keep listening to more voices.
That's correct. So this particular little paragraph here basically talks about what I wanted to convey was soil structure. Proper composting has numerous benefits to the soil. First, it improves the structure of the soil. And remember we talked about last time that the biology actually lives in the different layers, like a condominium and different floors.
Yeah.
So that's the structure.
And
the structure is like different cities on top of each other, right? And they all do different things. And people have to understand that it's that all they have to do is look at Mother Nature and see how she makes compost. So I've never seen Mother Nature make compost without the animals in them. Without animal, trees can decompose, plants can decompose, but what is it that goes that comes along with it? What is Mother Nature really good at spreading around?
Leaves, is a big one. Manure from
There you go.
animals, from birds, from
Exactly
chickens,
right.
from cows.
Exactly
Yeah,
right. That's exactly all the animals, all the insects, anything that's alive
defecates.
defecates, like poop, and they die.
Yep.
And so that's a big, big part right there that Mother Nature says, well, I'm going to build this. I'm going to put it in such a way that everything is intertwined with everything. You can't go poop anywhere because that poop I'm going to use. That poop is going to become something else, which will then become something else. So the whole thing becomes a big, really very refined system.
And that's how she built it. We just been screwing it up so bad. We gotta help get it back to where it should be. So
go ahead.
are you gonna read what you have there on the healthy biology?
You want to read it? You want to read it? You got a good voice.
Proper composting has numerous benefits for the soil. Firstly, it helps to improve the structure of the soil. When organic materials are composted, they break down into smaller particles, which helps to create a crumbly texture in the soil. This improved structure allows for better water drainage and aeration, which are essential for both healthy biology and healthy plant growth.
Remember, microbes are not very good swimmers.
Well, some of them are pretty good because they live in the aquatic environment, right?
Right. I'm talking about the soil ones.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they need water and they need air.
Yes.
So one of the things I've learned is that the biology really likes, everything gets recycled in nature. Exactly. And not only that, but what's cool about nature, she has the ability to send trace minerals. Loom, that's exactly what it's called, loom. To send trace minerals all over the world. Everywhere in the world, it will get that, which I think is really cool. There's not one tree anywhere if there's no man around. Mother Nature will make sure that person gets all the trace minerals that it needs without it doing anything, because Mother Nature will feed it. Here, you eat this, you fly over there, you eat a die of poop over there, you make sure that's, and then she does that on purpose because genetically they're bonded. Those birds, those creatures are bonded together. The insects are bonded to that plant, to that tree, to that area. And you know how the birds will fly from one part of the world to another part of the world?
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's a genetic bonding that they have built in with them. And Mother Nature says, you're going to be over here. You're going to eat this stuff over here, which is rich, which I have certain minerals for you. And then you're going to go fly back to nonstop to over here and special delivery it to them.
Yeah.
Which is, and when you think about it, it's that we have stopped that process. Mm-hmm. Animals can no longer travel from Canada down to Central America, can they? On foot?
No, too many fences in the road.
You know what I mean? It's like if they're lucky, if they're a bird, they make it across.
Yeah. If they're lucky, if nobody has a shotgun. Like I know we have Canada geese. And, they get hunted up in Canada. They get hunted all through the States. I'm surprised many of them make it down there at all.
Or birds, or planes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or lots of other things. The toxins that they have to fly through.
Yeah.
So
windmills.
So it's really the whole process has been really set back because we're no longer. Mother Nature is going, what the heck is going on here? I can't do my thing anymore, you guys. What are you doing? And Mother Nature, I had the feeling, she says, I'm putting you guys here because I think you'll be very good for us. I think this will work out, right? Right? I'll give I'll give you the intelligence. I'll give you the ability to help, to be a part of it. And so what is it that we do, right? I think I
Oh,
made this part a little too small, and I have to make the lettering a little bigger. It looked pretty big to me when you have it on a full screen. It looks bigger,
yeah,
but
yeah,
essentially, it talks about enriching the soil, how the
yeah,
soil structure enriches the soil, and the way it enriches the soil is because the organic materials they decompose and they break down. So in here, I don't know if I said it or not, but it's made available to the plants by the biology. The nutrients are made available to the plants by the biology. They're not
yeah,
there waiting for the plants to pick. People think, okay, I'm going to buy. I have a friend who's a chemist, right? And he said,
mm-hmm.
oh, plants need 5 pounds of calcium, 10 pounds of iron, 4 pounds. Right? I'm going, that's your form. And then he mixes it together and he dumps it into the soil,
Yeah,
turns it all over. And he says the plants will get that nutrients, will get that. And he also happens to have fairly decent soil, but he doesn't really have the biology. So what happens is, yes, some of that nutrients will get into the plants because a lot of it is in a form that they take it whether they want it or not. And they don't
yes,
take the
yeah,
small amounts; they take massive amounts like nitrogen
and get out of balance.
and exactly the massive amounts. And then he has the BALLS to say, well, it's normal because now you have to take this product, which is whatever he wants to call it, anything
Yep,
from Roundup to whatever, pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and
yep,
meticides and you name a side. CID means to kill, right?
yeah,
And they said that's normal. You spray that because that comes with growing.
yeah,
And I find that really, 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 and that's what the 99. I think it's 99% of the public out there think. So if something's wrong, all the time I get calls. Come over and spray this tree. I know, I wanted you to do it organically. I want you to come and spray this tree organically. And so,
yeah,
I'm trying to tell them, well, there's a law of cause and effect. So you want me to deal with the effect, and that's the way it works in the chemical world. Okay, I'll come and spray. There's things you can spray that would naturally knock it out. Not naturally, it would knock it out temporarily, and then come back again. And it makes you believe that it always comes back, so you got to spray it again. Comes back, you got to spray it again. Forget the reason why it's doing it in the first place. Right, and that's normal. You have plants in one of my beds, the tallest, strong plants in the beds that I worked on. Shorter and tweaker. I have to improve those beds to improve the plant health. You got it.
yeah, exactly, 100%.
If you're good at growing, you'll see that plant's not looking too well. You don't have to have a refractometer to do a brick reading or anything. You go, it doesn't look really good, Sam. I don't think I'm going to eat it, right? I mean, if I was a vegetarian, I wanted to eat something, I would look at that vegetable and go, I don't think so. Well, first of all, I would not be looking that way in my garden. When I go to other people's garden, I go, you're actually going to eat that? There's nothing in there, So the enriching the soil is the key factor to it. But people are, and I'm not sure how to go about to change that. Because the advertising, all the stuff that people see on TV is all geared for that, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's the programming, Andy. That's why we're here talking about this now, so that anybody that does find this video and watches it, they get a chance to learn that what they've been taught is not necessarily what the truth actually is.
And what's interesting about it is that it really, really works. So if you really want. If you're a gardener and you don't care what I have a friend says, I don't care what I do. I just want to get there. I want that to be what I want. Mushroom compost is one of the best. Mushroom compost with animal pool works for me. There's before I forget, there's a mushroom company. There was a mushroom company here in Ventura called the Magic Mushroom Company.
Okay.
And the way you make mushrooms, you have to have a nice, clean environment, microbial rich environment, a certain microbes, a certain type. You can't be, do it chemically. So they basically would sterilize a kind of moss, a kind
substrate.
Of soil. Yeah, they would sterilize that, and then were inoculated, and then the mushrooms would grow, and then they would throw the mushroom compost away.
Yeah. After they get the flush of mushrooms off of that, they don't need it anymore. Some mushrooms do give 2 flushes, but that is such valuable material.
Yeah, big piles
for
of
the
stuff,
compost.
right? Big piles of stuff. And so
Yeah.
I heard about them because I said, oh, I like to have organic mushrooms. They were the big white ones, right?
Yeah.
And I was looking around the stores. These are not organic, so I'm not going to get it. So I found ladies say, hey, you have to go to Ventura. They make a left, say Magic Mushroom Company right in there. Get all the mushrooms you want. And by the way, you should get their wonderful. And that was a English lady. They're wonderful, amazing soil. And that soil is when I made my compost in Malibu here, I would add that to it.
Yeah.
It would inoculate the whole everything.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, that stuff is really so rich in the microbes, and that's one of the best things. And you can I would make a tea out of it.
Okay.
Of the mushroom compost tea. So if you guys have any organic mushroom company anywhere, start getting their mushroom compost, because you'll be surprised as to what that'll do to. It's like the magic elixir of healing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you did nothing else but take that compost and put it in your property and turn it over in your ground, you'd be surprised at what that'll do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to the next one. Nobody's asking any questions. They're also just listening in. It's so cute, right? And here's the obvious, right? Composting increases the biology. Composting increases soil biology by repairing the living organisms within it. The decomposition process attracts a wide range of beneficial microorganisms. Yeah. And that's also including bacteria, fungi, right? Earthworm. Yep. These organisms help to break down the organic matter further and release even more nutrients to the soil. They also contribute to the overall health of the ecosystem, enhancing its ability to support plant life. When I say plant life, I should say support all life.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Diggity Man, you're back. Took my pile and found a sweet mushroom. There you go. It's the old to me. You know how many piles I've sort of flipped over? I did it with a pitchfork. Those big pitchforks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's only recently, I would say maybe the last 20 years. Maybe when I came to Malibu, I didn't do any pitchforking because land is so valuable here. You can't. What is that? What is the S.I. It's a Nile. What is that? SINAL.
Sinea? I'm not sure. I think maybe a god, Andy,
But so my favorite way to make compost is a pile. It's a big giant pile. It's about my height, 6 feet. Okay, it's about 6 feet high, and I learned how to make it. And I had a Kemp shredder. It's a wonderful, wonderful shredder. It actually shreds up branches and bark, but you can throw compost soil through there. It doesn't kill the biology. It isn't one of those things. It's just a big block that smashes everything up, and I have all these nice crumbly powder, and it helps me to make the compost faster because you don't have to it takes me 30 days to make. Is that the lady? Hi. She should say something. She ran away.
She was saying the word is a Sinai.
Sinai.
Oh. So there's the Mount Sinai.
Yeah. Okay. I have to think about that one. So my favorite. So what I would do is I would start with a pile, and before I make the next pile, I usually take the center of that pile, move that over. That would be the start of the next pile. But in the process of making the pile, I would layer it, right? Put everything different ingredients in it. I would drive out in the country, get some rabbit manure, chicken, steer manure, llama, goat, elephant. I had like a circus of manures in there. Of course, I had the cow. The green plants I had very green plants and mushrooms grow throughout. Yeah, you got it. Let the mushrooms grow. The best thing to do is let them go through the whole process because they will spore back into the ground again rather than picking the mushrooms up. Right, that's the best thing to do. When I go to people's property, I get calls regularly. Well, not from my customers anymore. When I get a new customer, the first thing they said, Andy, I don't know what you're doing, but there are mushrooms growing all over the soil here. What is going on? One guy actually called me up and he says, took a picture, and it's like little mushroom patches all over the soil. I said, you should be happy. That means your soil wasn't so dead. That means that the mycelium and the fungi love it there and they're growing. Most
Yeah.
places it takes a year or two before the soil it allows even one mushroom or a mushroom to grow on it.
Yeah.
You know, another person says, "Why do you have to come every month?" Says, "Well, you've been here what 30 years and you've done nothing to the soil, and you want me to do what in 1 month, right?"
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if I had magic wand, touch the soil, all of a sudden, whoosh, is a different thing, right? But it takes a long time for that structure to get built back up again. And
Exactly.
when I sprayed the microbes, 99% of them die. Literally, 99% of them die. And that 1% sends me a finger. "You motherfucker, you left me here. Everybody said, what the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
And I come back.
Hey, man, send more backup. Send more backup.
Exactly right. And the next month I go back there, I go, maybe they're there, maybe it's not. I find what I call niches, little niches, there's an area on everybody's property that the microbes just take off really fast. They really, really like that spot, the sweet spot of the whole property, you know? I was at Michelle's place today. She has 2 sweet spots, maybe 3. And these I think like not only mushrooms are growing, but the poppies are coming up, the flowers are coming up. This is from seeds. And in the past, she would get a gardener to come and cut it. Tuesday, no, Monday when he's here. Do not touch that. Make it pass. Leave that. He said, "Well, they got mushrooms on. Leave them alone. Because this guys will be pulling the mushrooms up and taking them away." I said, "No, don't touch them. they're good." So you can see the gardeners are trained to kill the mushrooms.
They're trained to kill pretty much everything.
I had another customer call me up and says, there are earthworms here. When it was raining, they were coming up. And I go, "Yeah, they're supposed to be earthworms. I've been pulling them up and killing them." I go, "You're kidding me."
Oh, man.
So I had to have a talk with him. I have to say, "Dude, you know, first of all, when I go to people's property and I'm using earthworm castings, I buy the kind that was not heated. And you know why, right?
Because there's eggs there and you can get more worms.
Exactly right. So people go to the store, they buy earthworm castings, sterilized. I'm going, yeah, wonderful. So I talked to the owner, get some mushroom compost that are not treated with heat. Start selling those. I'll buy that. I won't buy this crap because all that's left in there is the minerals. Okay, so it's good for minerals. But it would be so much better if a worm would pop up and go, "Mommy, yummy, yummy." See what I mean? And so I actually put it on
I think, Andy, there is the concern, though, that some worm species are not compatible, but you know, that's the government saying, "Oh no, that worm was from Mexico or that from China or somewhere," and it's a bad species to be released in North America.
I think no, that's not entirely true. I think that's just the way of thinking that they say, "Well, we're keeping insects and creatures out. We don't want the creatures, insects to come here because it'll go rampant here." What they're really saying is, we're such bad farmers. We don't have any good soil or any healthy thing. Anything comes over, it can wipe us out. So you have to keep the bugs away from us, right?
Yeah. That's another way of looking at it. Damn right, brother.
That's what they're really saying. This is it's like a healthy guy saying, "I don't care if you have a cold, I'll catch it, get rid of it." Unhealthy guy say, "Stay away from me. I'm not going to get anything from you because I could die from a cold or die from this," right? Right? And so in my worm farm, I have 2 different species of worms in there, earthworms in there.
Okay.
Both of them say, "No, they won't do each other. They'll kill each other." But they won't kill each other. They're not going to. They're intermingled, having a great time. They don't seem to. They don't eat each other. They get along just fine. And in my garage, I have one particular kind, a European. In the bed at the other place, I have African night crawlers, which are really like.
Yeah.
You know, African night crawlers are really giant ones. They're really big. And they'll go through everything really, really fast and they produce a lot more. And they're the best ones for producing the microbial liquid.
Okay.
But the other ones are good too, but they're just smaller. You need a lot more of them. That's all. And that's all it really is in terms of mixing the biology, because I also tell people, on your property, you have plants that have genetically been grown through centuries and centuries in other parts of the world. They're not native to this part. They're not native. So their genetic structure is geared to the microbial life you'll find there. And the earthworms and whatever it is you find over there. It's all about caring and sharing about the community. It's your own community. That's why I was talking to a lady from India, dal. She says, we used to grow 100 varieties of dal here.
Yeah.
But now the farmers only want to grow just one variety of dal, and they want they're starting to spray this chemical and use that for it, and the nutritional value is going away, and it's just one variety. And the lady, her name is Shiva something, and she's really cool. You should listen to her. She talks about a lot of things, from the virus to organic gardening to Medicare to doctors, and basically it's from a lady farmer's point of view.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Because that's exactly what. And she says, men don't like talking to me because men are not supposed to get advice from women.
Not in their culture. Not in their culture. They're not.
Not in their culture.
Yeah.
So she's saying we're going to go back, and so they had a blight. So these farmers in India, not all of them, this certain part of it, they were growing this one variety that the United States, this is what you grow, genetically grown, everything's fine. You can use this stuff, because for some reason they stopped doing what they've been doing for centuries and started doing what we United States rather said to do, chemicals and that stuff. I don't know why they switched. Maybe it has to do with money. Maybe it has to do with they freaked out about because the environment is changing so bad. I mean, they picked the worst time to go chemical, right? Here's the environment's changing on you, right? You really need to get that soil and everything together now. So what do you do? Oh, that's, they're afraid that, that we don't have enough water. They have to water more. But they don't get it that healthy soil needs less water.
It retains the water. You can create a pond from the morning dew. I mean, Dr. Lane Ingham did that at the George Bush Center.
Right. And the weather here in Malibu is kind of similar to a certain place in Peru. No water, but they have a fog.
Yeah.
So one day a captain of a sailing ship crashed, and they had this mast and sail. The dude put it up in his house, and the fog comes in. It will raise the mast and the sail.
Yeah.
And all the water would drip down. The fog would come, and the massive amounts of water would come into his property. How's that? And then when it was windy and stuff, he would just lower it down, raise it up at night, just soaking. And now people are just buying netting. They put nettings up, and the netting alone catches it and brings it in.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple of presentations on that. So they got some pretty big stuff down, anywhere where they get that fog, right? Because it's
exactly right. You get the fog right here in Malibu. You get the. I keep telling Michelle, we need to have a ship sail. We hoist up, and then let it come down. I'm still going to do something like that. She doesn't know it yet, but we're going to set something up. It should be real easy to do. You pick a mast in the ground, the kind you hoist, then you hoist up the sail. And you put it up. It doesn't even have to be a full sail. It could just be a cloth rope.
Yeah.
You want the wind to blow through it, but the fog will collect on it, and you have big buckets. So anyway, in India, so they went and started doing this chemical farming. And what happened? They had a blight, which killed everybody, all the except for these group of ladies, which said, no, we're not going to do. We're going to do it the way we've been doing it for centuries. I have 30 different kinds of dal, 30 different, and they didn't get a thing, not a problem. And they had the best
strong plants,
and they had the best harvest and the best. And what they're doing too is they're starting their own seed bank. So if during the drought, these plants do really well. Those are the ones that they grow again, and then they take seeds from that and they save those. And they try to pass them out to other people in their country, right? So that's a form of genetic modification because you're picking the best seeds for that particular environment. That's what I do here, and where a lot of my customers that I happen to be the gardener for, I grow something in the ground and then I take that same seeds and grow them again and grow them again and take the best one from those things, and it gets better and better and better. So,
Yeah,
but
and it's
anyway,
adapting to the biology and to the terroir of the local environment.
so let's see. Let's see what I got here next. Oh, there you go. How's
Heal
that?
the earth. In summary, proper composting is a valuable practice that enriches soil in multiple ways. It improves soil structure, enhances nutrient content, and increases soil biology by repairing and attacking
Attracting.
attracting. Sorry, it's really small, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Attracting beneficial organisms by
Incorporating.
incorporating compost. Well, here you can read it better than I can,
By
Andy. You can see it.
incorporating compost into our gardens and agricultural practices, we can create healthier, more productive soils and contribute to sustainable and environmentally friendly practices, which in turn help heal the whole earth. And that's
Uh-huh.
and that's people don't. There's a lot of things people don't get, right? Isn't that funny? But what's really happening is that they don't seem to understand the health of the soil is in essence the health of the earth. Because if you
Yeah.
have toxic soil, then the air is going to follow suit and the water is going to follow suit. Which right now we have toxic air, we have toxic water, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's pretty much toxic that we go around on this planet. You're not going to find any places no toxic. I was just reading about forever toxins. Forever toxins. They're called
Yeah.
forever toxins. You know what they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That means they will not go away. Even though you and I know that the biology could probably attack those guys too. If they can go after radiation,
Actually,
they can go after these
the
toxins.
fungi. It's
Right.
the fungi that actually will run up to say against a rock, change its direction, but it'll leave a thread there, and that white thread over time will create the chemicals that's needed to break down that rock. It's just going to take a long time.
Right, and that's what's going to happen with the toxins that are
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah, as long as we quit spraying more and more and more of them and give Mother Nature a chance.
That's
We
exactly
do have a
it.
question, Andy.
What?
We do have a question. So does seeds growing from living soil stronger seeds for long-term storage?
Of course.
So, yes,
of course.
100%.
If you so one of the things I've learned about organic gardening when I buy vegetables and fruit. So I learned a long time ago, organically grown fruit do not spoil. So you have chemically grown fruit, which are weak. You're lucky if it doesn't spoil on the way home. By the time you get home, you go, oh, darn, I didn't.
that fast, but
I
close.
didn't. Oh, hey, I bought avocado, and like a jerk, it wasn't organic, right? I got home, and I could have sworn it already started to spoil. I'm going, what? How does it work? I mean, there's no energy to hold it, to retain it, right? To keep it. Whereas organically grown avocado will just sit there, or mango. I mean, I'm from Florida, man. I'm Florida. I mean, I would pick mangoes and stuff and let them sit. They will sit there forever and not rot. And I've learned from experience the same thing with the vegetables. They just don't rot. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Right. And so any seeds. So I have a seed bank of seeds that I have grown, which are probably 40 years old, 50 years old, because I started them a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, and the seeds definitely last. I don't know if I was talking to you about Thomas Jefferson's marijuana seeds.
No, it wasn't me, but go ahead. Thomas Jefferson's marijuana seeds.
It wasn't you. Okay, so I was talking to somebody. Okay, so maybe 20 years ago, Thomas Jefferson had a farm, not 20 years ago, but this is a discovery that happened about 20, 30 years ago. You know, Thomas Jefferson has a farm, so did Ben Franklin. Everybody knows Ben Franklin did the printing press, and he was really into hemp. Mm-hmm. Hemp was his thing, right? It looks like hemp marijuana.
The paper he used, wasn't it?
Exactly right. The Constitution was written on hemp that he grew.
Yeah.
And then Thomas Jefferson, he wasn't into hemp. He was into pot. His farm, he grew pot. And so that's one of the things he grew. And to them, it was like they would do a cigar or a big spliff of it. And, the little boys would hang around and smoke. It wasn't illegal.
No, it
And
was
so
actually in back in those days, the medical profession was prescribing it on a regular basis.
exactly right, exactly right. And so they had a big thing going on back and forth because what happened was is that they both had slaves, right?
Yeah.
And so the slaves would know each other because Ben Franklin would visit Thomas Jefferson's place or vice versa, and he would bring the
Hmm.
crowd with him. And oh, little brother, sometimes they were the same family, just different slaves. And they say, well, we're growing this stuff over here, and you should bring it over to your place because they were talking about pot. Why don't we bring some pot over to Ben Franklin's place and grow it there?
Yeah.
And so uh, to make a long story short, you can't do that because if you go pot anywhere near hemp or hemp anywhere near pot, you're going to end up with hemp. No pot.
Yeah.
You can't smoke hemp. You know that the Boston Tea Party was about hemp.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't about the coffee
It was
or
about
the
hemp.
tea. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about hemp
Yeah.
because we grew hemp for the English Navy for their rope.
Hemp was growing to pay taxes in the
That's right.
colonies.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we dumped the hemp overboard. We said the heck with that. And then there's a really cool hemp in the United States. It's called hemp americanus. And
Okay.
that's the one that's growing wild everywhere, and people like to smoke it, and nothing happens there. But anyway, you can't grow hemp. And so there was a big rift going on with the two, and I know about that because of course it talks about it in The Emperor Wears No Clothing as well. It covers that. But Thomas Jefferson's what happened was is that they're restoring his farm, right?
Okay.
And they found it's like a cellar, a basement that has rocks in it, and you store, and it's a good ideal place to store seeds. So they found this place had uh, clay pots full of different kinds of seeds.
Yeah.
Corn. One of them was Mary Jane seeds. He had his own variety that he grew. I think it was indica.
Cool.
It was the type of indica, and that was brought over by the black people, who were the slaves. They were brought. Came over from Africa to make it more interesting. I was always interested. Even to this day, I have a few seeds from Africa. That's a very special type of, because you think of the environment. They are actually growing in the desert. Okay, so it's like holy cow, right? Right?
Yeah, tough seeds.
So anyway, they found these seeds. Then the seeds disappeared, and within a few years, you can find they were on the market. Thomas Jefferson's own variety of marijuana seeds.
Yeah,
and people were growing them. I didn't get a chance to. I couldn't buy it because they all disappeared very, very fast. The seeds were what? How old do you think those seeds would be if they found, say 20 years ago? We've been around almost 200 years, right?
Something like that. I have no idea.
When was Thomas Jefferson around?
No idea. I'm a Canadian, man. Why would I wouldn't worry about when Thomas Jefferson was
okay,
around.
when was America discovered? When was Canada?
1876. There's a number that popped into my head. So
these guys are on the 1700s.
Yeah.
So that stuff is almost 200 years old, man.
Yeah.
So the seeds will grow forever if they're high quality seeds, high energy, and they're stored in the proper way.
Yeah. Mainly it's the storage, and the energy you put into the seed to start with.
Right. So I have a wide variety of seeds. And I'm not worried about it because they're being taken care of fine. I still have that faith that I'll be in a place where I can grow and experiment. My favorite thing. So one year I had. So I got this. I'm going to digress a little bit. Should I? Or are we? Go
ahead. Go ahead.
Are we? Let me see what the next one is. I think there's even another one. Oh yeah. Okay. There you go. See. So you can see those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, grow the best food. That one I can read easy,
Yeah. Okay, why don't you just leave it right there? Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't touch it. Go ahead, read it.
Soil microbes help to have beautiful, and in the yellow I can't read it.
It says healthy trees.
Okay, so that says healthy trees there.
Yeah. Here's another one.
Become a tree hugger. And heal your trees. Something. 2. Okay.
Okay, here you go.
Become a soil guardian. And the little stuff, I just can't do
Okay,
it,
and
man.
heal your soil.
Okay.
Okay, and what does it say in the large stuff?
Bring your soil back to life.
The health of the soil is important. You like the graphics?
Yeah,
And of
yeah,
course, this is a ad for my book. It's called "Don't Panic,
yeah.
It's Organic." $20. You get it on Amazon or my website. And then heal the soil and you heal yourself. I think that was it for the slideshow.
Okay.
But what I was saying is I started growing you know what when I got out in 1970.
Right.
And so when I was in the service, I picked up some of these Thai sticks, which has
Right.
seeds in it. And so I've been
Mm-hmm.
growing them ever since. And I've gone through about, I don't know, at least 10 different generations. So the first batch I grew, I was happy. I had one male
Okay.
and about 3 or 4 ladies, and they all had a good time. And those ladies had literally hundreds and hundreds of seeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and I even have pollen now from this one male. You can save the pollen forever also and pollinate. And what's interesting too is that one plant, say I had 100 seeds, they are all genetically different.
Yeah.
They're not the same. So one will taste different, one will look different, right? Their feel will be almost identical, but then you can see that their THC level is different, or they react, they grow taller. So it's amazing how the genetics can be modified so easily within one structure. So I still have quite a lot of seeds, which I've saved, because I would take those and pair them again with another one, because I'm always looking for males. So I got another male, and I would learn. And I couldn't, because of my room I was in. One male would pollinate everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no way to say you out. You can't do that. I would move them off to another room, and sure enough, I would walk back and I would pollinate it myself somehow on my clothing, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I should say, oh, fine, just have the orgy, fine with me. You know what I mean? But I grew about 4 varieties that I labeled. I gave them a name.
Cool.
One I called Red Dragon. So if you look up, you're going to see there's some Red Dragon on the market now, but they are Red Dragon, Sativa, and Indica. Somebody got a hold of that Red Dragon. GB high. Oh, GB. What's GB?
Good question. I'm not. I'm social media illiterate most of the time. So yeah, GB. Yeah.
The only varieties of pot that I smoke is sativa. It's the only kind.
Yeah.
I do not like indica. It's not my favorite thing to do. I actually have in my seed bank. I have Panama Red.
Yeah.
I have Jamaican. I have some lamb's breaths. I have some really nice Maui Wowie, right? I have Pakistan. It's called Pakistanish Gold. I have some varieties from. I have the original Pineapple Express. You ever hear of that, Pineapple Express?
Yeah, and I was just informed that GB is Great Britain.
Great Britain. Cool.
Yes.
That's your voice in the background there, right? The voice in the background.
Yes, it's the God voice that I hear every once in a while and try to ignore half the time, but she just never lets me,
So listen, I want to go back to say one more thing too. So one of the things that I invented is called super seaweed. I invented that.
Yeah.
It's a microbiological activator. So I've learned in the process of increasing the biology, you want to give them good food. So you can put biology in dead soil. There's nothing for them to eat, and they will die very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So when I spray them, I add the super seaweed, which has the trace minerals, has the enzymes in it. The microbial soups that the microbes. At least they have something that they can eat, and they do need the soil.
Yeah.
They can't function without the soil. So my weakest link has always been what the gardeners buy as compost.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I always try to. I have two people now. Oh, Layton. Layton's makes a really dynamite compost.
Yeah.
Right? That when people buy it, they add it to their soil, and then I spray it. Bingo, you got a nice environment to grow from.
Yeah.
You can't just go to the store and buy compost and think that if it comes in a plastic bag, right? If it's in a plastic bag sealed up, don't buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as simple as that. And I also tell people to learn how to use rock dust.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rock dust is what? Trace minerals.
Yeah.
Right? So
well, actually, I just happen to have some trace minerals. We had Leah Oram from Quad Ag on last Monday, and she sells humic and fulvic acid, and she's got a mix for human beings too. Actually, Leighton's gonna get some, so you'll have to get a squeeze. It's really tasty.
Where do you get it from?
Quad Ag.
Text me to me, okay? Text it to me.
Okay, yeah. Well, actually, in the description, there's a discount code in the description that you can use as well.
Okay.
And she has the humic and fulvic, but this is the human grade, and it's quite tasty.
Well, you know where I get one of the sources I get my trace minerals from is called Willard Water.
Okay.
Dr. Willard invented this in the early 50s, 40s. Because he said the same thing. We have to get those trace minerals.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you get too much trace minerals, it becomes toxic. If you get too much of any one trace minerals, you get too much cadmium in your body, you're dead. Too much lead in your body, you're dead. Too much gold, you're dead. Too much arsenic, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yet we need
balance.
But yet we need a certain amount in our bodies for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
if we want to be healthy anyway, we need it.
Exactly. All right. Well, we can do it without it, but we're going to have one disease or pest problem because it is directly related to a mineral deficiency.
Yeah. Now, we do have 2 questions, Andy. So
no, I don't want a question. Please don't.
Oh, yeah. Too bad. Fungally dominated soil with sunflowers and hemp to possibly remediate toxic soil.
The hemp will pull up toxins.
And so will the sunflowers.
And so will sunflowers, as long as you're not planning on eating them and using them, because otherwise you will get the toxins.
You want to compost them.
A real good rule of thumb to remediate the toxic soil is to what? Make some really, really rich compost and inoculate it with that. So what I would do is I would start the composting process and then bury it into the soil halfway through and let it finish in the soil.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're talking let it heat up and then just throw it right into the soil and bury it in like an inch.
An inch is, you're kidding me. No, it depends how much root systems you have, whatever is there, you know. Yeah. But if you can go down a foot or 2 or whatever amount you can go down and turn that over and blend it in with your compost. So the compost is heating up. I think it goes like 190, 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a good temperature to shoot for. You're cooking it, you're doing it. Then you literally take that and turn it over, bury it into the soil that you want to clean up. And that's a big part right there that will break up all the toxins faster than you can imagine. Because what will happen is, as soon as the mushroom starts coming up, as soon as the mycelium takes hold, then you know you're in the process of cleaning up. It doesn't take very long. It will still take a few years because that's a slow process.
Yeah.
Right. It's a real slow process. So you have to constantly be feeding the soil, constantly be making compost and putting it in, turning it over, putting it in and turning it over, because it all disappears. It literally come back. Didn't I just put compost down here? What the heck happened, right? Yeah. And that's one of the best way. Another way is to learn how to use plants, because sunflowers and hemp are just one of many different kinds of plants that you can grow, that you can they're basically considered weeds, but you can grow lots and lots of different kinds of plants. We can talk about that in another show, what plants you can grow. Because remember, we talked about what weeds do is they bring up minerals to the soil and then they decompose and go bring it, back to the top surface, right? See?
Yeah.
So hemp happens to be one. Marijuana does the same thing too. It pulls it up. Anything you consider to be a weed, right?
Yeah.
So dandelions would do the same thing. There's tons and tons of herbs and tons of other plants. They're bioaccumulators, exactly what they are, and they will accumulate the toxins. And then you can take those plants and run it through your compost.
Yeah. And you should be running them through your compost, because that's
Anyway,
how things are going to get broken down. The toxins are going to get broken down over time. The more times you run that through the compost.
exactly right. They pull it up out of the soil. You take them, because normally you should let it decompose, return. No, you take that because you know that's going to be toxic. You start your pile with that, blend it together with everything you do, let it cook, and you can be surprised. And then you can take that, put it right back in the soil again. Because by then you have gotten rid of the toxins. And if you have to do it quite a few times to bring the biology up. And I literally will get worms to go living in there. When I was young and I was trying to clean up a place, I used worms as indicators. So the soil may look good, but I will put it in. The worms don't survive, still toxic.
Yeah.
You don't have to send it off to the lab to see how toxic it is. See?
Everything's dying, man. Now, it's not good soil, okay?
So soil labs are good. Soil tests are good to determine a variety of things that are going on. So you may want to do a soil test at many different companies, and I'm happy to have one of them come on the guest because they're basically they're labs. You know, they tell you what biology you have, what pH you have, what's available, the amounts of nutrients you have, whether they're at toxic levels. You see what I mean? You know, you have too much iron, too much salt. Usually they'll find that a chemically fertilized place is going to be overloaded with salts. That's toxic. Those are salts. So your sodium chloride, it's a salt.
Yeah.
And most people don't realize fertilizers are a salt.
Mm-hmm.
Urea causes a wide variety of damage to the soil microbes, but it's a toxic. It's a toxin. It's cocaine for the soil. So to remediate, you want it to just grow anything it wants to grow. A simple nasturtium plant will go nuts. Nasturtium just grows like crazy. And if you like sunflowers, you'll find that there's about 100 varieties of different kinds, same kind of sunflowers that you can grow that will just suck everything up, and you're not going to eat those things. You're going to recompost them again.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so we got 2 more questions. So
go for it.
We'll move on here. The chelation of rock of rock dust minerals can take years, though. Is that correct?
If you have a biologically active soil, no, it'll take you one season for the following season to have nutrition available if the microbes are there. If you do not have the microbes, you have a low count of microbes, very few microbes, it takes forever and ever and ever to get anything out of it. That's why you have to learn foliar spraying. When I go to the property's place, that place is like anything I put in the ground is not going to be available to the trees. It's not going to get it. The plants are not going to get it. There's nothing there. That's why chemicals work, because they suck it up whether there's alive or not, right? You know what I mean? You know, but if you really want it to work, you have to start bringing the biology in, bring it. So I spray nutrition so they can get it through their leaves and to their bodies, right? So they're getting that, and then you have to work out. You have to get the biology going. It usually takes a few years, right? Few seasons, because every season the biology works a little differently, right? There's different things going on in the wintertime and in the spring. You see, you want to go through the whole cycle, and then, but usually what happens is they're toxic because they have too much salts, too much iron, too much mercury, too much lead. All those things are really, really super bad, and it takes the biology a while to. Well, you have to get the biology going, because you have to have. They die. They eat it. They die. They eat it. The environment is so bad they die. So you have to get the environment going so that it helps the biology to survive.
Well, and that's why you're spraying a lot of your customers, once a month, because you're trying to keep the biology going and increase it. But we have one more question. Will the humates nullify toxins?
No, they don't. They do not nullify the toxins. The only ones that can nullify the toxins are living organisms that can take the toxins and convert it into non-toxic form. The humates will take what the microbes have converted, and they make that available. And so if you have iron, the microbes will break it down into a form of the iron that the humans can then react to and attach it to other things, so that can be available. Plants, like humans, do not just eat one thing. They eat a blend of different things that are combined together.
How
See
many
what I mean?
micro or how much how many different minerals are there, Andy?
96.
96. So 96 minerals. So yeah, that's a wide variety of munchies for the plants, you know, and for us.
Exactly right. So you're not going to just eat iron.
Yeah.
If you did your dye or copper or anything, you have to have it with another minerals and the right combination, because then your body can absorb it and use them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key to it. You don't have to worry about it. The cool thing is that get everybody together. They'll do their thing. You don't have to micromanage these worms, these organisms. See what I mean? You should get organisms from as many different places as you can get. That's why when you do your composting, as many different sources of animal manure as you can.
Yeah. Well, and like Operation Annihilation here, kelp. Kelp can have good and bad, but if you compost it first and let the biology at it, I think all the bad that's in there, the biology is going to break the molecules out of that, and all of a sudden you've got good and plant available.
When you go to the store and you buy kelp in a farm, go in a gardening center, the kelp is probably more and more toxic now than ever before. Anything from the ocean is more and more toxic. I would not immediately start growing in the garden. I would add it to the compost.
Yeah. Let the biology at it, baby.
Exactly
Let the
right.
biology eat
So
it
don't
up.
take the kelp and then make a liquid out of it and pour it and use it on your vegetables, because it's in a concentrated form. Sure, maybe 50 years ago, maybe as early as 50 years ago, I would say that's exactly what you want to do. Take it right from the. I mean, I used to go down the Florida Keys and get the seaweed and dry it and make. Now, forget about that. You're lucky if that radio counter doesn't. A Geiger counter doesn't.
Geiger counter, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to run it through the microbes. Run it through the microbes.
Run it through Mother Nature's gut biology.
Exactly right. That's what you got to do. That's exactly what you have to do. We're not. If you start eating it straight, if you start shooting that stuff up straight, you're in deep trouble.
Big time. Anyway, Andy, we're at the hour, so this was a fantastic show again, as always. Thank you very much for our chat. It's great to see you guys. And remember, we have Luna and the Queen of the Sun Growing, who was on last week, is now Luna's new co-host. And we have Matt Powers on tomorrow, guys. So you're going to want to check that out. 7 o'clock or 6 p.m. Pacific is the start time for that one as well.
I'll be there.
So, there you go. And I expect to see you in the chat, Andy, then.
Okay, great.
See you in the chat.
Okay,
okay, guys. Peace out.